Hello dear students. Today we are going to take up a new chapter, chapter number 6, Changes Around Us. In this chapter we are going to see about the different type of changes that takes place in our surrounding, and we are going to divide these changes into different categories. When we see the changes around us, we notice that some of the changes takes place by itself while some of the changes takes place because of we human beings. When we say about the changes that takes place by itself, we can see some examples like the growing of the tree. When we plant a small plant, the size of the plant is very small, but with the passage of the time, the height of the plant increases. When we see in the paddy field, the paddy also increases in size, changes its color. Some other example of the changes that takes place by itself, we can see the change in the color of the leaf. At the young stage, the leaf have a green color. Slowly and slowly, it becomes mature and changes into brown color, and at last it dries up and falls off from the tree. So these are some of the common examples that we can see as a change that takes place by itself. Some changes also takes place in the nature with the help of the human being. Suppose when we blow air inside a balloon, the size and the shape of the balloon changes. It increases its size. But when we release out the air from the balloon back again, then we can see that the size and the shape of the balloon changes to its original form. So these are some of the changes that we can divide depending upon whether the change takes place by itself or by the help of human being. Now, let us see one more important category of the changes that takes place in our surrounding. When we see the changes based on a particular criteria, whether the change can be reversed back or not, we can divide the changes into two different types. First one is reversible change, and second one is irreversible change. Reversible changes are the type of changes which can be reversed back to its original form if we remove out the cause of the change. Suppose, for example, just now we discussed that when we blow in air inside a balloon, the shape and the size of the balloon change. These changes of the size and the shape of the balloon takes place because of the force that is exerted with the air that we blow inside. If we release out the air from inside the balloon, then the pressure that is built up by the air on the wall of the balloon also reduces. Because of that, it changes back to its original form. Like that, there are many other changes that happens which can be considered as a reversible change. Let us take, for example, the melting of the ice. Suppose, if we take a cube of ice and if we keep it in the open air, slowly and slowly, the ice melts down and changes into the liquid form of water. So in this change, the solid form of ice changes to liquid form of water. The same water can be again brought back to the form of ice if we reduce the temperature. So here also, the changes is taking place and that change can be reversed. Because of that, the melting of the ice also can be considered as a reversible change. Now, let us see about the irreversible change. Irreversible changes are the type of change which are permanent. They cannot be reversed back by removing out the cause of the change. So for example, let us say, if we take a piece of paper and if we apply a force and tear it, we cannot change back or we cannot join it back again. Another example of the irreversible change is the burning of firewood. If we burn the firewood will be converting into coal as well as ash. The ash that is formed after the burning of the firewood cannot be converted back into the firewood. So, depending upon whether a change can be reversed back or not, the changes that is taking place in our surrounding can be divided into two different categories. They are reversible change and irreversible change. The reversible change, as it can be reversed back, we also call this reversible change as temporary change. While in case of the irreversible change, as it cannot be reversed back, such type of changes we call it as a permanent change. Now let us see about the causes of these different type of changes, whether it may be reversible or it may be irreversible. Causes of changes. There are different factors which causes changes in our surrounding. Out of all those, the most important and the most common causes are pressure or force. The first cause is the application of pressure or force. When we apply a pressure or a force, certain type of changes can take place. The changes can be reversible or irreversible. Let us say, for example, let us take a piece of paper. Let us apply force on this paper. So let us see how the force can cause both the reversible and the irreversible change. Let us say, for example, for the first time, I am going to apply a force and crunch this paper. When I crunch this paper, the paper remains in its original form and it can be again brought back to its flat structure by releasing the force back again. So as the paper is brought to its original form, the force that I apply on this paper, in this case, causes a reversible change. Now let us see how an irreversible change can be caused by the application of a force. In this same paper, if I tear this paper, then it is converted into two small pieces. These two pieces cannot be joined back to form its original structure. So in this case, with the application of a force, there is a cause of irreversible change. Now, let us see the second cause. The second cause is the change in the temperature. With the variation in the temperature, a particular form of a substance can be changed into another form. Recently, we discussed one example, that is the melting of ice. Let us see that example once again. Let us say this is an ice cube. So when we apply heat energy, the temperature of the ice will increase. Because of that, the ice which is in the solid form will be converted into water which is in the liquid form that can be collected in a container. So this change in the temperature is also considered as a cause of the change that takes place in our surrounding. So these two are the most common causes of the change that is taking place in our surrounding. Now let's come to the next topic. Now in this next topic, we are going to discuss whether the reversible and the irreversible changes takes place separately, alone, or can it take place together. So let us see. In most of the cases, only the reversible or the irreversible changes takes place. But there are some changes in which both the changes takes place. Let us see one example. During the burning of a candle, both the reversible and the irreversible changes takes place. Let us see how both the reversible and the irreversible changes takes place during the burning of a candle. Here, when we burn a candle, at the time, the wax which is in the solid form melts down. When it melts down, the melting of this wax takes place because of the increase in the temperature. When the liquid form of the wax cools down, then it can be converted back into the original form, that is the solid form. So in this case, a reversible change takes place. Now let us see what is the irreversible change that takes place during the burning of a candle. During the burning of the candle, the wick of the candle burns down. This wick, when it burns down, it will be converted into a black sooty substance. So this black soot cannot be converted back into the original form of the wick. Above that, some of the wax, when it burns, it used to get converted into another substance which is known as carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide cannot be converted back into the wax in the solid form. So here, two irreversible changes takes place while one reversible change takes place. Let us remind once again what are the reversible and irreversible changes that takes place during the burning of the candle. The reversible change is the melting of the wax, which can be again converted into the solid form of the wax. This is the reversible change. Now let us see the two irreversible changes again. The first irreversible change that takes place is the burning of the wick. This wick, when it burns, it will be converted into a sooty substance which is black in color. That sooty substance cannot be converted back into the wick. The second irreversible change that takes place is the burning of the wax, which gets converted into carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide cannot be converted back into the solid form of the wax. So like this, like the burning of the candle, there are some other changes also that are taking place in our surrounding, in which both the reversible and the irreversible changes are included. So these are the things that are included in this chapter. So in the next video class, we will come up with a new chapter. And for today, let us wind up here, dear students. Thank you.